Today I'm going to be making some homemade little twists. So I've got some puff pastry here, a puff pastry sheet, and I let this unthaw in the refrigerator overnight. So I'm just going to pull off these little strips. I will flip this over a little bit. I am going to give this a little roll with my rolling pin. If it starts to stick, you can use a little bit of flour, but I'm just gonna roll this out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna try to get some of this flour off as well. So you're gonna want a baking sheet, and I've got some pre-made basil pesto here that I'm gonna be using. And I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and I'm just gonna get some of this flour off here. Okay, good enough. So I'm just gonna take some of my pesto, and I'm gonna take an offset spatula, and I'm just going to spread this out. So that was probably 2 heaping tablespoons of the pesto. This is great for an appetizer. It's also really delicious with homemade pasta and meatballs. Really, any little side, this really works with as a side for anything. Kind of instead of like French bread, you could do this. But it's really pretty also as an appetizer or on a charcuterie board. Okay, so I'm gonna get a clean piece of parchment, and then I will line my baking sheet and we'll be ready for the next step. Okay, so I've got my baking sheet here, and I'm just gonna take my pastry dough and just transfer it to my baking sheet. And I'm gonna kind of pull this over to one side, and then I'm just gonna cut some strips out of it. I'm gonna make this easy on myself. I'm gonna cut the strips, and then I will transfer it back to that baking sheet. They don't have to be perfect. If you cut them a little bit wider like this, you can kind of avoid that natural crease in the puff pastry. Just want to make sure that it cut all the way through. All right, last piece. Get this knife out of my way. And then I'm gonna just very carefully pop this onto the baking sheet, and then I can just kind of pull these apart and give them a twist, just like so. Definitely I'm gonna give them a little bit of room. Twist this one a little bit more. And I'm just gonna come back here and do a couple of these a little bit tighter. All right, so those look pretty good. I'm gonna go wash my hands, and then I'm just gonna take these and I'm gonna pop them in the oven, 400 degrees for about 20 minutes or until they are nice and golden brown. Our twists are all done. They're nice and baked up. I'm just gonna let these cool down, and there you have a really quick and easy puff pastry appetizer that's great for charcuterie boards. It's great for an Italian inspired dinner, or just really great anytime with anything. Enjoy!